It's October. We are now in the Halloween season. So I thought for the first video of October, I would talk about my top 10 favorite horror movies ranked. So let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek City. Make sure to let me know in the comment section what are some of your favorite horror movies of all time. This is just my opinion. There are a ton of horror movies that I could have included. This was really difficult for me to put together, but I want to know, what are some of your favorite horror movies? Are they on this list? Are they not? Let me know in the comment section down below and we can have a fun discussion. This is just my opinion. And without any further ado, let's get straight into this with number 10, Carrie, the original, not the remake. So this was the first book that Stephen King ever wrote, and it was adapted in the 70s in a film. This was when I watched for the first time about 3 years ago, and it's been one of my favorites ever since. It's a classic, and I think it's a little underappreciated. I feel like when it comes to those classic horror films, especially classic Stephen King. You know, people talk about Shawshank Redemption and It, and a lot of those films, Stand By Me, but I feel like this one deserves to be praised a lot more. It's really accurate to the book. It keeps what needs. Obviously, it can't go full out because the book's a lot longer than the film, but it's able to keep a decent amount, and I think that it is really, really good. I think that the lead actress who plays Carrie, she does a fantastic job. This film is actually pretty creepy. Not a lot of horror stuff is really happening for the first hour and 30 minutes, but once you get to that scene with the pig's blood, things go crazy from there. The mom was also great in this film. You know, you really hate her, and you kind of see, you know, her psychologically torturing Carrie for the first hour of this film. So when there is that snap, you know, it's very much earned. Like, well, not earned. Like, you're obviously, like, you're kind of rooting for Carrie in one way, but you're not, because, you know, you're seeing Carrie get bullied this whole movie and by all these people, and you're like, you know, you want her to be victorious. You want her to overcome her bullies and her mom, but she does that, but in the way that, you know, she does it, you're kind of like, by the time the film's over, you kind of have this feeling of like, okay, I'm glad that she's, you know, been able to overcome these terrible, terrible high schoolers, but, you know, she kind of like killed a lot of people, so that's not good. But that's why I love this film so much, you know, just the idea of having a character that you're rooting for, kind of in the similar vein of like Joker, where you have somebody you're rooting for and seeing how they. I'm not the Joker movie, not the character Joker. I'm not rooting for Joker. I'm talking about the film, like the 2019 one where they kind of make you. That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of how this film goes, and it's really creepy. Coming in at number 9, Seven. I am counting this as a horror movie. People say it's a thriller. Thriller. I look at a thriller as like a movie that makes me like thrilled. This is not a movie where I am thrilled. This is a movie where I'm scared because it's about a dude murdering people in the way of the 7 different sins. And this was one where when I first watched it, like 2 or 3 years ago, I think I had liked it, but I didn't love it. But I think as I've sat on the movie, it's really grown over time, and I fully realized this is a horror movie. I don't know what y'all are talking about. This is not a thriller at all. This is a horror movie. And that ending is one of the best endings of all time, obviously. And when I first, again, saw it, I was like, oh, I wish we saw what was in the box. I mean, we obviously know what's in the box, but I wanted to see it. But now, looking back at it, I'm realizing I think it was smart that they didn't. It leaves you with, you know, the film ends and you're just sitting there, like, thinking about what is in the box. Like, we know, but, like, actually seeing it, it's, you know, it leaves your brain a mat. You have to think about it. Like, it leaves stuff up to the viewer, which I just think that's a great form of storytelling that I've gone to appreciate this movie a lot more as I've gotten older, and I've seen a lot more movies. I appreciate this one a lot more. It deserves the praise that it gets. I think the ending is great, but Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are great in this film, you know, trying to solve the mystery. The kills in here are brutal. You know, the way that these people are dying, it's gross, man. I don't see how you could consider this a thriller. Like, to me, a thriller is a movie where I'm, like, thrilled. Like, oh, man, this is exciting. That's not what thrilled means. This is scary, man. Like, I feel like that's, yeah. Coming in at number 8, Halloween. Obviously, you know, this is a film that is, you know, it's pretty slow. There's not a lot of kills. It's not super violent. But it's just good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it deserves to be on this list just because here it is right here. Because of how much of just a classic it is. How it basically, you know, this and Black Christmas kind of just made the slasher genre And although I feel like there are Halloween films that I could rewatch a lot more than this one. This, at the end of the day, I think is the best on a, storytelling level, where it's simple. It's about a crazy dude who has broken free from prison, goes to a town, and is killing people. That's it. This and Black Christmas basically created the slasher formula, so it deserves to be on this list for just how important this movie is. Coming in at number 7, this might step on some toes. Friday the 13th, 2009. I am talking about this one right here, the remake. For some reason, people don't like this movie. A lot of Friday the 13th fans don't like this movie, and I don't get it. Because to me, this movie took the best parts of the first 4 films. You have the opening scene, basically retelling the first movie, and then you have Jason return as a bagman. You see him getting the hockey mask, and then you see his defeat. That's why I love this film. It's definitely the best out of the Friday the 13th movies. The characters are fun. This is definitely the best Jason. Like, he's brutal. He is running after people. He's killing people. Like, it's definitely the most brutal. It's gory. Like, I don't see how this isn't considered the best Friday the 13th movie. Like, this is the best one for me. And so I bought, like, for Christmas, I got the fancy schmancy version of the packaging, because I love this movie so much. This is also really cool packaging. I haven't really shown it much, but you got some posters, you got some note cards. Oh, you got a little, like, Crystal Lake, like, letter. This thing is sick. But, like, I love this movie so much. Like, it's one of my favorite horror films, as shown on this list, and it deserves a lot more attention. This is the best Friday the 13th movie. And it has the best Jason, for sure. Oh, no. Stuff is falling. That's not good. Okay. There we go. Coming in at number 6, another remake. Technically, the next 2 are also remakes. But number 6, The Evil Dead 2013. This is the best Evil Dead movie. I don't care. The original Evil Dead is a classic. Evil Dead 2 is one that I used to consider my favorite. But as I've sat on it, I enjoy it a little less. Like, I don't enjoy the campiness as much. I kind of enjoy the original Evil Dead movie more. And this film basically takes moments from both of those first 2 movies and combines it. So you have the more brutal, like, horrifying stuff from the first Evil Dead, but, with a more, updated, production. So it looks a little better. And then you have that fun, bloody finale. So I think it takes the best elements from those first 2 films. And just, I love this movie a lot. I think it's, again, one of the examples of a remake done right. Kind of in the vein of Friday the 13th, 2009, where it's a remake, but actually it's doing something different. It's not just remaking the movie plot for plot, because that's boring. It does something new. It takes elements. It's in a way its own story. It's not really a remake, honestly. Some people don't even consider it a remake, because it's a new set of characters in the cabin, and I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's brutal, and I really enjoy it. Number 5, It 2017. I think this film would be higher if chapter 2 is kind of weird. I'm 50-50 on how sometimes I love chapter 2, sometimes I really don't. But I think this film was great. This cast of kids are just so likable. They have so much charisma. They all have a lot of chemistry with each other. I like the atmosphere of this, of Derry. I think they did a good job production design-wise. Bill Skarsgård is great as Pennywise. I just thought they knocked it out of the park. They took the best parts of the first half of the It book, and I think they casted the kids perfectly. They casted the adults perfectly. It's creepy when it needs to be. I love the production design. Just overall, I thought that they knocked it out of the park here. Number 4, I would argue that number 4 is the actual best movie on this list. I'd probably say so. The best actual movie. As a horror movie, some people might not consider it a horror movie. I do. But I put it at 4 because it's newer, so I don't know yet if this will continue to go up. But I would argue this or number 3 are like the best actual movie. Number 4, Sinners. I know this movie came out a couple months ago. I don't care. It's already number 4 on my list. And yes, it is a horror movie. I love this movie. As I've sat with it, I've continued to think about this movie and what it stands for. It's grown on me so much. I love everything about this movie. I love the performance from Michael B. Jordan. I love the production design, the music in this movie. Some of the songs from this soundtrack I've added to my playlist. I don't normally do that with movie soundtracks, but this one deserves it. It's fun, having to stab these vampires. the costumes, the music, the themes of the film, and how it relates to, and I also live in Mississippi, so that's kind of cool to have have a big blockbuster take place in Mississippi. And unfortunately, it's during a pretty bad time in Mississippi, but I think it's a great film. I love what it stands for. I love the different interpretations of what's going on in the film, and that one scene, if you know what I'm talking about, at the jukebox with the different eras of music was just so good. I love how music fits into the theme of the movie and everything, and it's so good. So I would probably say it's the best film on this list. Or number 3, which we're about to talk about. Coming in at number 3, The Shining. A film that I used to not really like very much because it was boring, and there was a lot of like, blah! Not a lot of scary jump scares. But as I've grown to, rewatch this one over the years, I've just grown to love it so much. I think oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Jack Nicholson. There we go. That's embarrassing. I think Jack Nicholson gives one of the best horror performances of all time, as you see him just kind of slowly going mad, going crazy. This film was also just really eerie. Like, it's one of those movies where as you're watching, maybe there's not like a ton of scary stuff on the screen necessarily. Even with that, there's just like, it's eerie and like it's unsettling. It's an unsettling movie. You know what I mean? Into like the whole film, you're just kind of uncomfortable because something's gonna happen, and I think that's what makes this film so good. And it's really, and when it has the scary moments, they're scary, but the whole film is just, you're just uncomfortable, and I think that's when you have a good movie. Coming in at number 2, Scream. Brought back the slasher, craze in the 90s. It's what I think this film just did so well was basically like acknowledging horror movies. A lot of horror films before this weren't acknowledging horror, and I think that this movie is like playing on that. Where like they people in this movie know horror movies, like they know they exist. Like it's very meta. This is kind of the first real meta horror movie, and people started. You didn't have a lot of the like horror movie nerds until this, where they're like in the movie going, "Oh, don't you realize in horror movies they do this? We should do this." You didn't really have that till this film. A great cast of characters, great final girl, just a ton of iconic scenes and lines, and I think that this also is Scream is definitely one of the best horror franchises. But I feel like this film is just, there's not much for me to say that hasn't been said before. One of the biggest, such an important movie for pop culture in general, so it definitely belongs on this list. But number 1, maybe not the best horror movie, but my favorite, Hereditary. Ari Aster's first film. Just is mind-blowing to me, what this movie did. It's so crazy seeing this family go crazy, basically. And I didn't know anything about it going into it. I'd heard for years that it was great. And for the first like 20 minutes or so, I was like, I mean, it's good. I like the direction. But as soon as you got to that pole scene, I was just like, whoa. All right, we're in for something. He was not afraid to hold back. This movie is brutal to watch. Not even like from a gore standpoint. There's not a lot of like, I mean, there is gross moments, but like, it's more just brutal kind of seeing what's happening. Like, Ari Aster, number 1, even though some of his, like Beau Was Afraid got a little too out there, he is a great director from a visual standpoint, and like, specific shots in this film are just great. The performances are incredible. There's that one dinner scene that is just so good. But it's also so brutal and terrifying. And the ending to this film, this is just why I love horror, because you have stuff like slasher movies, and then you have stuff like this that are just more like complex. It's not as like scary, but it's more from a mental standpoint, like you feel like the horror as this family's just going crazy. So that's my list. Make sure to let me know in the comment section, what are your favorite horror movies of all time? This is just my opinion, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the rest of the Halloween horror themed videos that I'm doing this month. And as always, stay geeky.